Good morning everyone and welcome back. The cows are just making their way to the feed pad. I've been holding them up at the cow shed in the mornings, feeding out and then letting them go once they've finished milking. So they're just going to have a little bite to eat and then they'll make their way to the day paddock where I've got to go and set up now. So today's video I thought I'd do it on deferred grazing and what I've thought about it over the last couple of weeks. How I've got on. It's a little bit too early to tell the results, obviously, because the grass hasn't come back, but we have had the best week for February anyway. We've got 50 mils of rain over the last 7 days, so that's pretty amazing. February is our driest month down here in New Zealand, so to get any rain in February is pretty good, and especially that follow-up which we need. So hopefully we get a little bit more in a week or two and that'd even be better. It's definitely changed things. The farm is greening up big time. So I've got a fair bit of grass out here. Everything's recovering quite well and it's actually pretty cold this morning, so yeah, hence why I've got the jacket on. But we'll go and set up a paddock and then we'll come back later and I'll explain what I'm doing. So they can have this paddock. It's quite a long narrow one. There was a fence in here but I pulled it out, but yeah, there's a bit of a pick. It's pretty green, so I just need to turn the tap on for this trough because it's got no water currently going to it, and all done. So the cows were in here 2 days ago and then they were in here yesterday, and you can already see how much that paddock's recovered. A little bit greener, so that rain's definitely helped. And then the tap for that trough is just through here. I know it's a little bit hoary, but it is what it is. I know it's a little bit hoary having a trough, a tap there to turn the trough off, but the old pump shed was over there, which isn't on our land anymore. So when the farm sold, our boundary fence got put in, so the line was going straight through here. I think that was getting pumped to these troughs and we couldn't find it on the boundary, so we dug around and couldn't find it. So what we did is we just put a tap here to stop our water, because we hooked up to the new line to stop our water getting pumped back down the bore over there. So I hope that makes sense. So I just turn that on and it fills these troughs up, but we'll get planning to change this paddock. So there's race rock here, which only goes to there, so it's not a real long race, but pull this up, so this will go back into grass, and this hedge, rip this hedge out, and that hedge there. I think these trees can stay for the meantime, and make it into sort of either 2 or 3 paddocks. So there's a gate there, so redo that entrance and run a fence up to the corner over there, and make it sort of either 2 or 3 paddocks. I'm not quite sure yet. I'll have to see. Like that, it's not so good a quality land just there, so maybe I'll make that into 1 and then maybe 2 here. I'm not sure yet, but that's the plans anyway. And fix that water pipe, so probably move that trough and move that one over there, and at least when the digger's here we'll be able to dig a trench up the boundary fence and find the water pipe and shut it off, so David's water doesn't come this way. We'll be able to shut it off for him, but that's the plans anyway. But it won't be happening this year, so there's a few other things that the digger's going to do, but that's sort of in the short to medium future. It's no major, it's working at the moment, so I'll leave it how it is. It's just a bit of it's on the wish list, I should say. So cows are almost finished, cleaning up the last of it, and then I'll just leave them here and they can make their way back to the paddock. I've shut the gate at the bottom, and I'll shut them in later. But first I'm going to have some brekkie and then I'll come back and show you the deferred grazing and what's happened over the last couple of weeks, what I've changed, what I've thought, and what's going to happen next. Just back from a bite to eat. Took a little bit longer than expected, but that's all good. Back out this afternoon, and this is the bully boys coming to say hello. I should lock them out of here now, but so this is the second paddock that I deferred grazed, and Dad went through with the topper the other day and just topped some of the thistles and that in because it was quite trashy. The cows left quite a bit down there, so So he went through and did that, broke it up a little bit. So these paddocks, they had 50 mils of rain on them, which is quite a bit. So you can see all the original clover, like here's a good example. So all this original clover is starting to come back, and there are new shoots coming through too. So if we have a look down there, you can see these new, it's a bit hard to see, I'll put the camera like that. There are new shoots of clover coming through. So it's starting to work. This paddock looks a little bit better. It's had a little bit longer deferral, I guess. And jump over the fence, don't rip my pants. Barbed wire on top. So it looks a little bit greener. Some of the original grass is coming back. Here we go. Let's yeah, so yet again you can see quite a bit of trash on top, but the clover is making its way back up. But I think it looks good. I was told the other day at the discussion group that I went to about deferred grazing that the clover is the first thing that bounces back. So your ryegrass takes a little bit longer to germinate and the clover goes straight away, which makes sense. There are a few little bits of ryegrass that are germinated, but definitely not as much as the clover. But I think if we get another 20 mils in the next couple of weeks, it'll sort of boost, which wasn't really expecting. New bulls, fairly friendly, eh? I can't quite pat them, but yeah, I need to lock them out. There's too much grass in here for them now. But so now we'll go and have a look over there, because it's not, these paddocks didn't actually come out quite so bad, but I think those ones aren't quite so good, way more weedy. So I'll show you what they look like. So I'm just over here in the other paddocks now, and the wind's picked up. It's blowing pretty strong from the east too, which usually doesn't come that way, so it's a bit different. But these paddocks definitely turned out a little bit different. They're way weedier. They got a lot more weeds, all sorts of weeds too. Like there's a lot of docks, which are the red ones lying down there, and a heap of others I don't even know the names of. So you can see like there's a lot of seed head up on the hill there. But down here it stayed real green and it didn't go to seed, so it'll be interesting to see what the bottom turns out like. This is yeah, there's a little bit of clover down here, and it does get real wet through here in the winter, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that comes back like. But I have actually just started to increase their breaks because I want to get them out of this paddock. This will be their 5th day in here now. I've probably doubled it, and I am pre-topping before I move them, as you can see here. Mainly because I didn't in the other paddock, and there was just too much trash and rubbish that they left behind, and so I had to top it afterwards anyway. So yeah, I've just gone back to that. And also I'm a little bit worried about seed drop because of that 50 mils we got in the last week. You find the seeds have started to germinate underneath, or some have, so I'm a bit worried that if I leave them down there they'll germinate, get smothered and die. So that's why I have cut those paddocks there for hay. So I'm going to turn them into hay once I'm out of this, which should be in maybe 5 to 6 days I think. Then we'll go back to just grass at morning, grass at night. I'll give them the maize at night again, and I'll probably feed them a bale of silage during the day. So that's my plan. Since I've got a little bit of grass around now, I think production will pick up. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see going back onto grass if they go up. So they certainly dropped coming onto this, and there were a lot of comments about in my last video, or in the video about deferred grazing, the first one, about what their production would do, and I can safely say yes, they did crash, and they sort of leveled out, but I sort of expected them to. And it's also a little bit hard to sort of gauge, because I think they were going to drop anyway because there wasn't much grass around. So yeah, I don't know, it's a hard one to say. To have kept them on grass, fed them silage, how much more milk solids they might have done. They might have done more, but I don't know, it's interesting because it's also given my grass paddocks a rest. so there's more cover in it now. So I don't know, it's something that I wanted to do. I've tried it. I really like the method. I definitely think that I got things wrong. I probably shut them up too early, and I put a little bit of DAP on them too, which you're not supposed to put any nitrogen on, because it promotes that like ryegrass growth instead of the clover. So yeah, I don't know, it smothers the clover, and that doesn't come through. So I definitely want to give it a go next year. I probably won't be doing the same amount. I might be doing a few less paddocks. Yeah, I don't know, interesting though. So yeah, and I think it's a little bit too early to tell what it's going to come back like. If we got another 20 mils say next week, which it's not looking like, it's supposed to be suns for the next 10 days, yeah, I think it'd really move. Like there's quite a bit of growth in those paddocks over there. There are seeds germinating here, so just a little bit more moisture, and I think it would be all good. But it's also making that into hay. It's not going to be the best sort of hay around, but I usually don't feed anything through the winter because they're on an all grass diet, so they'll definitely eat it in the winter. Before calving, maybe a little bit after calving, I'll feed it out. So yeah, a little bit of supplement on hand can't hurt. But we'll go and take a look at the maize while we're here, and I'll show you that. I haven't looked in there for a while. It was getting a little bit stressed, and I think it's sort of not looking too bad after that rain now, so which is good, because I didn't want it coming off too early, because I have quite a bit of maize in the bunker still. So hopefully it's start of next month, but we'll go and have a look. It is going to be a bit interesting too to see how this one goes, because we're going to ted it tomorrow. Might ted it Friday and then rake it Saturday and bale it Saturday. So it should knock all the rest of the seed off, and then it'll just be lying there waiting for a bit more moisture, I think. But just having a quick look through now, yeah, there's a heap of seed that's already germinated, so that's what I was getting a little bit worried about. But I think I've done the right thing. So I'm just in the bottom end now. That's where the hay is, so it's only next door. These ones on the end tend to get eaten by birds like that. Birds have got into that, so we'll walk in a little bit and have a look. This is probably maybe a little bit greener down here than in the middle or up top where it's a bit drier. Oh, see, like that, another bird nailed that. Yeah, so the cobs aren't terrific. So we're on a little way here now. It might be a bit noisy with and yeah, I don't know, these cobs look a bit small. They sort of double cobbed up, but have a wee look. So I just peeled this and broke it in half, and it is 18 round, which that's pretty good. I'm happy with 18, that's quite a few. I'll just peel one off, and the milk line, well, there isn't really a milk line in that one, is there? It's way high up, so there. Yep, so they're a wee way off, that's alright, we'll keep them growing. Feed this to the chooks. Well, from planting to maturity, it's supposed to mature on about the 6th of February, so that's still another sort of 2 to 3 weeks, so that'll be about right, I think. But it was getting pretty stressed and yellow in places, so yeah, that rain certainly helped, sort of held things back a little bit. But it'll be right, I've filled the pit. And just while I'm over here, I thought I'd show you, but you can see sort of yellow patches in the maize. They shouldn't be there. Makes it a little sick looking, so maybe, I think we got a real heavy rain in October, November, and it sort of washed a bit of the topsoil off. I think we got about 35 mils in 15 minutes. So yeah, it sort of got planted the wrong way. It got planted that way, and it should have got planted that way. So instead of the water tracking down the rows, it would have got broken up by the rows sort of thing, if that makes sense. But we're going to change that so that next year that'll go into a perennial, and then we'll put this into the maize paddock. So usually it goes into an annual, just a 1 year crop, and a perennial means it'll be in there for a couple of years. And the main reason we're changing it is we sort of want to work this paddock up. There was an old silage pit here, so we'll get the digger and rip these stumps out, flatten it through here, and just contour this paddock, really make it nice, and then we'll probably go maize for a year, and then just regrass it, and we probably wouldn't crop it again, or not plough anyway. ploughing up paddocks for soil and losing that soil structure. So we're going to do this one and that one, and I need to find another 2.5 hectares I think, because I'll be about 2.5 hectares these 2 paddocks. So maybe we'll grow half of the maize we need and buy the other half in because it's only next door. So that's a thing to think about, but certainly no dramas. We'll go and get the cows and put them on their night break. The first couple of nights they went straight through there. Oh, go. Oh, look at that. Maybe they're doing it for the camera. Oh, I had big trouble. They'd come here, just balk, and then they'd want to come this way. But for the first couple of nights they went in the paddock, and then for about the next 3 they just they wanted to come this way. So I'm glad it's working tonight. That's mean. Here's cow number 52 here. There she is, walking away. So good news. Her calf's going to be an AB calf, so hopefully it's a heifer and we'll be able to keep it, but chances are it'll be a bull. But she's one of my favourites, like I've told you before in another video. I've also got something lined up that's pretty cool that I'll explain to you a little bit later on. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen any of my videos before, hit the subscribe button and you'll get notifications about when the next ones come out. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.